sure we're on, up and running. All right, we're gonna go ahead and kick this off. All right, let's get started here. Here we go. All right. You know what I like more than knowledge? Ranking Google My Business listings in the 3-pack that aren't even verified. My name is Chris Palmer, and in today's video, I'd like to discuss how you can rank your local business faster, how you can rank your GMB listings in the 3-pack faster, easier, and how you can get more clicks from maps. So this is geared towards local GMB maps. I'm going to explain a CTR and traffic manipulation network. That's the purpose of today's video. I'd like to discuss because I've had quite a few questions. All right. So as we're moving into 2021 and as of right now, we know that there's at least 7 updates a day. As Google is becoming more and more algorithmic, we know that they're looking more towards user signals. So this is just a quick screenshot of just the most recent, all right? These are just the most recent that have been popping up. As you know, they're going to start looking at page quality. They have a new algorithm coming up. User signals are playing a bigger and bigger factor, which if you've been in SEO, you know this. So I recently did a video. If you haven't checked it out, please go ahead and take a view. But like I mentioned, the network, the traffic manipulation, everything is really geared towards local SEO, Google Maps, and GMB, all right? So if we know that Google is moving to all algorithmic, and we know that user signals are playing a larger and larger part, if we're looking at a GMB listing just like on this one here, we know that Insights is giving us our blueprint. This is what Google is looking at. But we need to give them exactly what they want to see, a perfect click. Now this screenshot was really just me just playing around with it to see if the clicks were counted, and they were. Now the next piece of it was sending the signals that Google wants to see, like I mentioned before. Now what I feel is a powerful signal is signals like, okay, we want to expand proximity. So are people searching from the locations that I want to show up? That's a huge signal. Are people searching for my competition and clicking on my listing? That's a signal. Are people searching for my business and asking for directions or leaving photos? Or are they following the customer evolution? Are they searching for the business? Are they clicking? Are they asking for directions? Are they doing a phone call? Are they then leaving a review? Right? The customer evolution. Sending the signals that Google wants to see. Now, in my particular area, I was just doing some testing, really. I've been testing this for quite some time now, but who's in my area is SEO Harrisburg and Smart Source SEO. SEO Harrisburg is an excellent name because that's super past where I am, right? In Harrisburg, I'm in Tamaqua. But in any case, these being the dominating competition in my particular area, this is who I was really targeting. Plus, I was just testing a few things out. So what I did is I sent particular clicks, going back to generating the signals that Google wants to see, and I control it. I was searching for SEO Harrisburg, finding my listing, Smart Source SEO, getting my listing, generating and sending a powerful signal. That's what it's all about. It's all about these user signals. So if proximity is the #1 local factor, like I discussed just before and in past videos, if I can start making geolocation requests from particular areas that I control, and they're consistently coming up, I'm also searching for businesses outside of my proximity, but somehow finding my business, there's something that's called a session. If within a session I'm searching for another business or outside of my proximity and I find my business, that's a huge, powerful signal. This is just one way. So how to generate these signals. Now again, can this be taken outside of the context of, local business, Google My Business and Maps? Perhaps. Have I used it outside of this? No, I have not. I have tested and used to success in these particular key places: local, Google My Business, and Maps. So how do you do it? How do you generate the signals? This is done by what I call a CTR and traffic network. I actually call it a manipulation network, but I didn't want to say that I didn't want it to sound black hat, because it's not. So really what I want to cover today, right? I've showed just a couple results and, how things are leaning towards, but I want to talk about what it is, how you can get started, and the overall cost. Now, what exactly is it, to touch on that? A CTR and traffic network is a network of devices, or you could look at it as a network of personas that you control. The key here is that you control it. And there's actually two different types. There's 4 types, but we're going to discuss 2 types, which are the most... this is a very new strategy, a newer technique. We're digressing from the bots, and we're realizing, okay, maybe as a supplement they have a little bit of help, but we want to control the action, the evolution of a customer from beginning until end. So there's 2 types of networks. So we have our physical network, which I've tried different types. I've bought in the Raspberry Pis. I've created my own mobile proxies. I've had software that was for sending out mass SMS, also making mass robocalls. I've had that software through my timeshare and travel club agency. That I set up my own little system. I also went ahead and I went on to eBay. I'm a power seller on eBay. If anybody's followed me, they know. I went on eBay and I bought phones. I tested it that way. And we're going to discuss, benefits and drawbacks of each. And what I settled on was actually a virtual network. All right. A virtual network is a lot more scalable. It's something that you can maintain and manage. Plus, the startup cost is a lot lower. So if you have multiple clients, or maybe you want to make money, or whatever the case is, a virtual network is really what I settled on. But why wouldn't I just use a service? There's a lot of services out there that generate clicks, that generate real users and organic, and those services are great. But why wouldn't I just use that service? Like I said, I want to control everything from beginning till end. If you're doing SEO, you want to control everything from beginning until end. So why wouldn't I use services like Mechanical Turk, an excellent service? Have I used it? Yes. Does it work? Yes. Is it a little trickier than other services? Yes. And you can use this. It is help. It can help. But as far as cost efficientness and me being able to control every single aspect of every single element, I want to have control and I want to be cost effective. But what about a very popular, and I like this tool, I've used it quite a bit, why not micro workers? Again, it's the same exact reason. I want to control. I want to know exactly what's going into a campaign. I want to know from beginning until end, and I want A+ quality. As things are moving on in time, the quality has to be there, just like with your links and your content. Everything, do you think that these services, that those guys aren't building out these networks and using the same stuff? Do you think they're not doing it cheap as possible so they could generate as much money? They're doing it for 50 cents to $1 a click. So, and that's really one of the aspects that this could help you, because that's, in my opinion, from what I saw, a lot of them are doing this. But in any case, you can supplement with these services and they are okay, but I'd rather the control, and I want to know exactly what's going into a campaign. So like I mentioned, you need to control all aspects of a campaign, and you want trusted traffic, and you want to know how that traffic is generated. But not just any traffic. We need click-through traffic. We need to know where it's coming from. Where did it start from? How is the session time? Where is it going? What link did they click? How did they do it? Right? The whole cycle you want to control. It's just like a PBN if you're building links. They're super powerful. You control every aspect. If something happens, you can shut it off. It's the same thing. It's just, we're just taking the local stuff to the next step. That's what this is all about. So, and I wanted to touch on this, and it's not only a matter of, hey, it's trusted and the signals, but if we're looking at a cost a cost to time benefit plus, hey, I can't even 100% guarantee that these guys are going to do what they say, and maybe they don't even have a setup that I already have, which I've already figured out. So if you take a look here, and we're doing signals, and for larger campaigns you'll need more. For smaller localized and maps you'll need less. But when we start taking a look here at the types of click and search, which is what we need, click and search, right, primarily, for the better quality, it's going to be $1 to 50 cents, 80 cents. As you can see, it's a quick screenshot that I took on my second account. So that adds up. If you have more than one client, the cost can really go up. Now you can charge them, but if you're just a small local business, or it's just you and you want a competitive advantage, it's a lot better to control everything yourself. Plus, you don't have to learn a platform. So traffic and click trust, right? Because we're talking about trust here and controlling everything. Where does it all originate from? In my opinion, and it's fact, it starts with the IP address. So, and this was a question that I want to touch on. So why wouldn't I just use a private proxy? Why wouldn't I use a rotating private proxy? Why wouldn't I use a VPN? Why wouldn't I use residential? Now, you can, but it's not optimal. It's not a guarantee. And private proxies, rotating proxies, VPNs, there's other users that are already utilizing these IP addresses. You see? There's already marketers. There's already IG creators, people managing accounts, people scraping all kinds of stuff. Even the private ones, even if you're using a rotating residential, even after the course of time, even if you're using a rotating proxy, it's back connected to an actual IP. Also, a lot of these private proxies, they're IPv4. IPv4 is in a data center. They're already triggered. It's not a trusted IP address. So how do we combat this? Well, mobile is elite. So you'll ask, hey, why don't I just use a mobile rotating? Because mobile proxies are forever changing, and you can at scale. And this is something that I'll teach. Hey, how do you scale this? If I'm just have, myself, maybe I have 5 websites, maybe I just want to rank a couple clients, you can set up your own home network, but there's also a way to scale it that's much cheaper. So these types of services out there can be utilized, but if you're just a one small shop, SEO, or you have a few businesses, then I can show you how to create your own. So, you know that utilizing mobile proxy, aka the IP address, it's the best now, right? We've gone over why. And I can teach you how you can always have a trusted proxy, right? Because it all starts from that source, from beginning until end. So now you know how to create a trusted click, and you know how it originates. What's the difference? Why don't I do this? Why don't I do that? We've covered that part. So what about hardware costs? Phones are expensive. And I went through this little bit of basis. And phones are expensive. This is a recent click search that I did on Google for used iPhone on eBay. So if you just take a quick look at the refurbished, and these aren't even the newest phones, which doesn't really matter per se, but if you get, say, every phone is $80, we'll say some are $170, especially if you're using, say, iOS, or you're using an Android, at least something that can serve, that people are actually using, right? That has at least 5.1 Android, or has the newer operating systems, that's something that can run these things. You're going to spend somewhere between, we'll say, $80 a piece. Now, just to make it simple, let's just say 10 phones is $500. So that would just be for a physical hardware setup, and that's phones. But then you have to insert the SIMs, and you have to handle each phone individually, or turn them all on, or maybe you'll have to have different data plans, right? You're handling it, you're doing it. It's not scalable. It's just not realistic, right? It's a lot of work. It's just not realistic. If that's something maybe that, it's achievable, but for me, it's not time efficient. It's not efficient, and there's a better way. So what about the service for each phone? And I just touched on this briefly. right? For each phone or each device, you're going to need a connection to the internet, right? So I went out and I got a quick screenshot from a website, and there's multiple different services, but I took this photo and I combined them because this is generally what you'll go out and you'll find, right? There's two different types of service providers. There's CDMA and there's GSM, right? Does it take a SIM card or not? Verizon is a CDMA, AT&T is a GSM, all right? Just to get you on base and on board. Does it matter? Not really. However, there's a caveat. In my humble opinion, I want somebody that's going to utilize a lot of different servers, so that way my IP range is a lot more vast. What I mean by this is there's multiple service providers, perhaps maybe Straight Talk, that will use multiple different providers. That way I'm getting a very large range of IP sets. All right, so Straight Talk, Net10, T-Mobile has one, Tello has one. There's a bunch of them out there. But the general price here per phone or per device is about $10 per gig. Now, you might get cheaper the more you buy, but you want a reputable service that utilizes a lot of other reputable service towers. It's the easiest way that I can explain that. So I'm showing the cost of what it would be, but if you have 10 devices, you'd have to do it times 10. So that's 100 plus I have to buy the things. That's every single month. You see, it's a recurring basis. So it seems like a lot of work. Why wouldn't I just use a traffic bot, right? And I touched on this a little bit at the very beginning. Why wouldn't I just use a traffic bot? Well, you could, and I have. I've tried them all. PandaBot. I've tried Diabolical Traffic Bot. I've tried all the different little ones that I found, like on Fiverr or Conquer. They build out these bots. I've tried Supreme, Panda. There's a bunch of them that I have. Right? And I've tried them out. And if you've played with any of these devices or tools or softwares in the past, you get mixed results. Another reason why I think that the bots really aren't up to par is because if you feel that Google is advanced, which I feel that they are, can they track mouse movement? I think that mouse movement could be a user signal that they could be looking at. I would find that it would be hard, but it could happen. Also, the IP ranges, we're going back to the IPs that you have to use. Diabolical Bot has its own little IP set, which a bazillion people have used, SEOs primarily. If you use Jingling, again, scraping again, you're using IPv4, server-based or data-based proxies. Even if you hook it up to a residential proxy, eventually that pool of 23 million can get used up very fast, whether you're using Storm or whatever you're using. What I'm getting at here is it can be supplemented if you're using a little bit of paid traffic and you want to send in just a little bit more for a boost. Primarily, I like bots for, say, secondary properties that I own. But when I'm looking at my money site or looking at entities that are directly correlated to my business, I want to control everything and I want to know that the IP range and everything is completely clean and it looks as realistic as possible. So there's no trouble. So that's why. So, and I just touched on this, but just like link building, you want to keep things as natural as possible, right? Like I mentioned before with the PBNs, you don't just blast a site, or just like I mentioned with the traffic bots, it's the same thing over and over. You want to keep things natural. Plus, SEO is consistently evolving. As you know, there's consistent changes. There's always something new happening and changing. As it's becoming more and more algorithmic, like I mentioned before, user signals are going to be looked upon more and more. So you need a competitive edge, an edge that only a few experts as of now use. Something that's cost effective. Something that's safe for you and your clients. And I put a star there because with any strategy or technique or anything like that, there's always going to be risk. I'm not going to say that this is risk averse 100% because nothing is, especially if you're trying to manipulate something, right? But it's going to be a lot safer than sending traffic from a bot from a data center proxy, all right? Or a rotating residential or whatever you're doing that's already been used a million times. So also, you want something that maybe you could sell, whether you're selling a setup, whether you're selling the actual service, whether you're selling a ranking, whether you utilize the training and you use it for something else. It's something that you can literally go out and start making money from immediately. So you want something that's safe, you want something that you could sell, something that's going to help you, and most of all, something that's effective. So really, I tried to cover everything, the benefits, the pros, the cons, the cost advantages. I'm offering a training that's called CTR and Traffic Manipulation Network. I'm walking you through the basis that if you're just a normal guy, you have 1 client, 5 clients, 10 clients, or if you want to scale, I'll get into a section where I can teach you how to scale it. And for a very low startup, less than it would cost you to buy 5 phones, actually a quarter of what it would cost you, I can show you how you could get set up and started immediately. I left a link in the description. So if you're interested in learning about CTR and traffic manipulation, you want to know how to set up your own network, check the link in the description below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next SEO, local SEO, how to rank in Google Maps video. Have a blessed day. All right, if there's any questions, and guys, and for those that watch, I'm sorry to sound pitchy, but I want to use this. I'm going to use this video to run. I'm going to use this video to run YouTube ads. So if you're wondering, I don't usually do that, but it's my main channel, so I want to put this in front of some videos that are mine and on some other channels. So that's why it sounded the way it did, and I was explaining the way I did. So if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. It's very hot in here for some reason. I have no reason why I came down today. In Pennsylvania, it's summer now. I'm not sure where you live, but I came down and my heater was on, and I'm thinking to myself, why is this on? I'm down here cooking. But in any case, so Brandon asked me, do I have a Lambo? No, I have a white Mercedes truck. I have an XLT Ford and a Scion car for zipping around town. So that's it. Traveling, white Benz, older truck model. I have a van for picking up stuff and hauling stuff, and then just a little zipper car, for town. But yeah. iPhone Repair says, hey dude, hello to you. Can I get free in Sashi the J? If you want to message me, I could perhaps give a discount. iPhone says relax. iPhone says relax and listen. Okay. Thank you, iPhone. Yeah, it's all listen. That's what it's all about. It's worth kidney in my country currency. I'm very sorry. Yeah, I mean, hey, message me. I did run some discounts if you're on my, if you're on my list or whatnot, I probably send it to you. But I have no problem helping you out. Or if you can offer it to somebody else, maybe as an affiliate, I'll give you a handsome reward for helping me out. Because obviously, I mean, it's not usually my thing. I'm transitioning from, like Fiverr and client stuff more into as I became more skilled in certain things. I want to lean more into teaching and more into consulting. But in any case, I'm helping business to get to 8 to 1,000 calls in a month from GMB and have some really amazing insights to share and launching videos on them soon. That sounds very awesome. Their search engine stream. I wouldn't mind hopping with you because I am as I was working on this, I was also doing. I released this particular training first because in the background I was working on a GMB training, and really these two will go hand in hand. You don't need one, but I feel for the fastest, quickest, easiest bump, the traffic and the CTR is going to get you there. But for the tips that that are beyond, hey, optimize your your listing, make sure there's keywords. I'll go beyond that in the GMB training, and it'll be a lot farther down as far as pricing. I kept this up because, I mean, it's not for everybody, and I don't want it to be for everybody. So, hey, Chris, are you just targeting the GMBs to give them a big boost? Because from what I know on the website, search and click, mouse movement is important. Yeah. Like I mentioned, when you're utilizing a virtual network, I mean, the persona is real. I mean, it's not a bot, Javid. All right. So, you're a real person on a real device performing real actions from wherever you want. So, which is the ultimate power here. Now it's still manual. I went through a heckish, process of trying to find somebody that was capable enough of automating androids, right? And automating devices. But the skill set in the circle I know was very low, so it was very difficult. But if there's anybody here that knows how to automate an SDK, if you know how to automate a device, multiple devices, message me on Facebook. Why would he? All right. Yep. Thank you, iPhone. So iPhone, chill. You might learn something. Well, thank you for sticking. I mean, yeah, I was going through the presentation no matter what. That was the main objective because I wanted to answer a lot of questions. I tried to answer them. It took me a while to put all the slides together. It's not usually how I teach. But I wanted it to be formatted, which I never do. I just like to do it. I didn't write anything I said. I did that off the cuff, but the presentation was the guideline. Should we need to update all the information required in Google Business Page before OTP verification code? I would probably, I wouldn't, no, I would just let everything stay the way it is, my friend. iPhone says, Chris, even deeper than we thought. Dude, we're in. Tell us how much. Value iPhone repair. If you message me, I could give you a discount, but offer price as it stands is $4.99. Don't apologize. You're the man. Ask for the thumbs up. Yes, Dan, thumbs up would be super appreciated. Thank you for reminding me. Brendan says, I'm seriously laughing out loud. Too funny, bro. My son would get a kick out of your thumbnail. Yeah, I always... Hey, good morning, Dale. Great to see you. I always wanted to, use that because it's just so iconic. Yeah, I always... I downloaded... He had about 25 videos. He used to sell, like, fitness programs and all kinds of stuff. And I watched a lot of his stuff to see, what's the open, what's the information, and what's the close, and how he transitioned. Because he was pretty slick. His marketing was very good. It was very, very good. But yeah, Brandon. And again, Dale, good morning. So yeah, that's really what I was showcasing today. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the overall. If there's any questions related to, CTR, traffic manipulation, how it works, why we're doing it, what's the point, how do I get there, where do I need to go, links in the description. But if you have questions, I'll be happy to help you. And but can be done, Sashi the J. I'm not sure what you mean by it could be done. I'm assuming automation of multiple devices controlled at one central unit, which is the objective. Very difficult to implement. I know Java. I know very little of, coding. I know Java. That's it. So, and a little bit of Python. But it's not something that I do. Drew, great to see you. Great to have you on here. And yes, I am. I can be. So you would say that this CTR is a relatively new method. I don't think that CTR and traffic manipulation is a new method, but I think that the means of the manipulation is very new. How I'm going about it, and it's only been recently that people have been setting up networks. I'm one of the first to showcase this publicly. Yes, it's a very new concept, and I'm literally, like, in the next couple, probably in the next year or so, it's gonna be, I'm the first one here, so and I'm very happy to say that I was the first one. I mean, well, really, I knew about 4 people that were really doing it, but yeah, I'm one of the first. So yeah, I would say that it's a very new method, but the whole concept is not new. All right. Or have the big boys been doing it for a while? Yes, I feel that they have been doing it. Yeah. I think that those platforms that we used to all buy from were built on it. Yeah. I do think that it's been going on for quite some time, but I think that it's becoming more, as people are starting to understand that user signals matter, and they matter a lot, especially within local, and what other ways you can utilize these setups for. I think it's going to become more and more mainstream. But I wanted to be first. I wanted to be the first one to show it. So are you showing us how to set up those devices and where to buy them in your training videos? Yeah, and again, the main objective here, Javid, is that I'm not showing you how to utilize a physical network. I want to show you how to set up a virtual network. So I'm gonna walk you through step by step every single piece of the puzzle, and then I'll even have I'm working on the last section, which will be things that you can utilize at least within just the what I know, local maps, things that you can do. Now I'm sure that you know what needs to be done, but I'll just cover a couple extras as like a bonus or whatnot, Javid. So yeah. How much do you spend on work and testing on percentage? Well, I had 10. I'll put it to you this way. I would say that testing probably makes up 60%, because the processes for the 9 clients that I have now are already in place. So the amount of time that I actually spend working, it's really just the onboarding and getting exactly what needs to be done, so I can then push it to Eric, which is my very close partner, and I do the intake, I do the work. I would say that my majority of my time is trying new stuff, playing with stuff, seeing how things work. I'm starting to move more into like the affiliate space, like building out more sites and doing more testing so I could show it. So yeah, I would say that most of it is testing. The onboard portion of everything is the hardest for me. Really breaking down, doing the initial audit, figuring out exactly what needs to be implemented, and then telling Eric exactly what I need. Once that's done, I don't ever really mess around with it at all. It's every piece, all the emails, everything that's done I don't touch it. I just do the initial onboard. Here's what needs to be done. I give it to him. He manages it. He takes care of it. It's a done deal. I take a lot less percentage, but I don't do any of the work. So yeah. And I'm sure you do a lot of that stuff too. But we're not like outsourcing to, say, I don't know, wherever you would outsource it to. I mean, he has his own little team that he works with, so I know the quality that's going to come back. I know what's going to happen. So in any case, Drew, that's how I operate. Also, what is the cost of that board with the wiring, which is showed in the beginning of the video? Yeah. Well, the Raspberry Pi, I mean, if you wanted to do a physical network, a Raspberry Pi dongle you could get for $45. The software that was being utilized, the one that I took a quick screenshot of, that software was actually hooked up to a much larger board that had 50 slots in it. It's a GSM multi-port SIM tray where you could just put the SIM cards in. It had 50 of them in it. And what that was used for was for sending out mass text and making robocalls. But you could utilize those SIMs because of the SMS, we could use that data to then do, you know, I could take my little piece that I had and I could go online on each of those SIMs on a different IP, without giving away too much. But that's not the route that I want to go. I'm assuming that I didn't make that clear. It's the physical network is time consuming, non-cost effective, and it's not easily scalable. So yeah. I'm teaching you how to scale and create a virtual network. Virtual, scalable, do it from anywhere, do it for anybody, set it up, run campaigns. You could set up 10 accounts on microworkers and collect all the pennies you want. Do whatever you want. Yeah, but the reason why I wanted to hop on and show this is because I do feel that in the next year, this won't be, it'll be like PBNs were 5 years ago. You see what I'm getting at? So I wanted to show this and get on now and be the first. But yeah, hopefully that helps you. So it showed in the beginning of the video. Okay, so Javid, I took care of that. So do I sleep? I go to sleep at, say, 12 or 1, and then I try to get up at between 5 and 7. Usually if I set my alarm for 5 a.m., I won't get up till 7. Now on, say, Saturday and Sunday, I just sleep until I feel like it. But generally during the week, I try to stay on a schedule. iPhone says, could this be delivered as software as a service? Yes. Yes. Yes, it could be. Absolutely. Absolutely, it could be. And, you know, I was even thinking about maybe breaking this up, because when we start talking about scaling, I think that you could really take this and offer it to a lot of people as a service. It's just that, you know, again, when I was setting up and creating and trying to figure everything out over the past weeks, you know, the initial system, I knew I couldn't, you know, I knew that that wasn't feasible for people to set up. I also knew that it wasn't very feasible for a bunch of people to buy a bunch of phones. I was just looking for what can be set up right now that's relatively inexpensive and fast and easy to do. And that's a virtual network. Now, it could be scaled, but when we start talking about scaling, particular controllers for virtual environments, and then connecting those environments to be able to do it at scale, you know, you would need a lot bigger budget than what I'm talking about for something for a business with, say, 5 clients or 10 clients. All right. I'll teach you how to do it. But it's going to be way more expensive. All right. So keep it up. Love the passion. Thank you, Drew. So I think I went through everything. I thought that this would be a good video to have out there. Hopefully this has been ultra beneficial to you and for you. If there are any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I'm going to definitely clip off the end of these. I'm going to use this as a advertising. That's the goal here. Last question. In one sentence, what would be the biggest advantage to a business client? Fast ranking. Competitive advantage. For a business client, especially if we're looking at maps, the biggest advantage is that I can literally control what I call the evolution of a client. I can control from beginning until end. I can help expand a proximity to help get more clicks, to get more traffic. I can generate the user signals that matter. That would be the biggest benefit. So hopefully that helps you out. All right. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been 40 minutes. It was actually less time than I thought. My enthusiasm is everything. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoy. Jen, do you have any questions for me, Jen? By chance, anything at all? Anything I could help you with? And I took a look at your page. I think that you're the young lady I was looking at. I noticed your page so good looking on that. That was nice. Thank you. A superpower. Thank you. I'm happy to help. So yes, hopefully if anybody is, you answered everything. Much love. Thank you, Jen. Glad that I could help. So I guess I'm going to hop off. We covered everything. It's been a pleasure. Sorry to be a little bit pitchy, but I had to share it, you know. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for enjoying the presentation. I'll definitely see you, everybody, in the next video. Everybody have a blessed day. I'll see you next time.